Now,
Okay,
now I am recording on everything.
Okay. Clap. 3, 2, 1. Fuck it.
So dumb.
Go ahead.
Okay, so hold on. How are we gonna intro? Like, is there already gonna be an intro made, or is this like a
Mm.
fucking?
So my hope is,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I got my little footy in there. Ooh. Wiggle those babies. Yeah, this is the moneymaker right here, Rick.
Guaranteed the worst intro to a podcast, but I do,
So,
I do like it. I don't fucking care at all, by the way. Like, this is
yeah,
banging already. So go ahead.
yeah. So I my hope is that I'm gonna make a song. I'm gonna get Nelson. You'll hear this name a lot on this podcast, by the way. For our new podcast, he's my roommate. I'm gonna get him to sing, and we're gonna do a little intro song. I already have it sort of written. I just got to get him to sing all the parts.
Is it Mimi?
Yeah, it's Mimi. So hopefully I'm gonna have a little song done. It's just a little jingle more than a song. It's like 10 seconds long. I'll put a couple clips in, maybe, and have like a little 30-second intro video. Hopefully, so that'll either be before this starts, maybe, or if not, then I fucked up.
Okay.
Either or. But that's my hope is I'm gonna make something like that. Before this is released. That's the goal.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
And then I don't know what we say. I mean, you're the intro boy, so I don't know what did we say to start it.
I'll probably cook something up. You know what I mean? Like, let him cook and figure it out.
Yeah. The hope is for people to call it TGFS though, because I think
TGFS would fly. Yeah, it would roll off the tongue. I mean, it's gonna manifest into whatever it is. Maybe we just do 2 episodes and we stop because it fucking sucks. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I have no idea, but I also don't care. You know, we're gonna get into a bit of the tour, but we got a little time together. We got to talk, and we're like, you know what? Let's do like a pod. Let's have some fun. Let's just be ourselves and talk about whatever the fuck, casting, Warcraft, new games, anything, and we're just be chill. Because I think me and you spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time together. We shoot a lot of shit. And I think it's always good, but we're gonna have a fucking issue because we have to like stop hanging out if we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, that's what we said. We were setting this up. Weirdly enough, this overlay takes a long time to make. But we were in some calls setting it up, but we had to make sure to not talk about anything. Like anytime we'd start talking about something, I'd be like, let's just save it. Let's save it. So we haven't actually talked about anything, except for when I guess we were playing Valorant a little bit. It's kind of hard to avoid it there.
I don't even think like we've hung out that much. We've just been like ghosting each other because we're like
kind of got it, right?
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I do want to.
Not we're trying to like repeat everything. You don't want to just be repeating yourself. The idea would be we just like can talk. Like we don't have any points. Like we don't know what we're gonna talk. We don't have anything. No. I didn't write any notes. I was gonna like secretly make some like a list of points, and then just have like naturally bring them up. And I figured we like both just secretly have like a list of points, but we don't actually discuss it beforehand. We don't say this is what we're gonna talk about. We just like can talk and like have our own agendas, but I don't have anything. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, the old man does want to go for beers in a bit, so where I told him like an hour-ish. I don't know how long these are going to be either. Maybe like an hour and a half. Dude, if we're cooking, we're going to let it cook. You know what I mean? We're going to let it cook and go off. I personally would like to get in on like guests and shit too. Like me and you will be like the regulars and shit, but if you're not there, maybe I bring someone on, you know what I mean? And we just bring people on because like there's gonna be times where we talk about new games, there's gonna be times where we talk about balance. I don't fucking care about any of that shit. You know what I mean? I just want to bring someone on who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about, and then you and him or you and her can like cook or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be really good. I do want to start with like, how we got this going, which was obviously and I like to say we just came back from tour.
Yeah,
we did. And we'll touch on a little bit what that means a little bit, but I don't think you've really had any time to talk about it. I don't know if you've been doing it on your stream or on Back to Warcraft or whatever, but do you want to like kind of talk about where you went? Maybe like if you have all the spots, list them off in case people are like, oh, I'm fucking from there, I should have went. And then maybe we'll just talk about like some good times we had and shit like that. And like how it started, because it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find all the dates. So what I was gonna do initially was on Back to Warcraft, I was going to just sort of do like start a stream like an hour and a half early, and then and just talk about the whole thing, because I could probably go through the whole thing in an hour and a half. And like if I have all the dates in front of me, which I'm looking for right now. Yeah, I found them. If I had all the dates in front of me, like this is the Instagram post. Don't know. Like, I don't know if you can bring it up or something. Who knows? But with all the dates, If I have all the dates in front of me, I could sort of go through it because I remember them individually, like looking at the days. But yeah, for people that don't know, my band went on tour. My band that it was our first tour ever, and we were really lucky to have gone on tour because most starting bands either you don't tour, one, you don't tour at all, and you stay in your town the whole life of your band, and you never go anywhere else, which is fine. A lot of people do that. Two, you do a tour and no one goes to any of your shows. You have two people in the audience and no one goes to your shows. Very, very common for bands at our level to do that. Or three, you do a tour very, very close by. So like I'm from BC, Canada. Ricky's in Ontario and you could sort of do like a few
Doxed.
shows in BC. Yeah, dox your province. Yeah. Yeah. So you could do like a show just in BC. So like would play Victoria, Vancouver, Kelowna, very like Cowichan, very, very local places. That's the third option. But still no one really goes to your shows except for in your hometown, maybe in one town over. But we got really lucky. We got to do not only did we get to do the entire country, Canada's a pretty big place. It takes like what does it take 60 hours to drive across all of Canada? Like straight across? It's
It's
huge.
long, man. I think from
Yeah.
here just to get to like Manitoba is like 28 hours, and that's like two provinces
Yeah.
over. So to go that one more is Saskatchewan, then Alberta, then BC, it's probably a
Yeah.
long fucking time, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really long. So we have the opportunity as a band that's I mean, we're not necessarily new. We've been playing together for about 6 years, but like, 4.5, 5 of those were playing cover gigs. So which is what you do. Like weddings and all that. So we're relatively new for original stuff, and we got to do a cross Canada tour. So not local, not staying in one city, across the entire country. And we also had people at the shows because we were able to open for somebody that's well known in Canada, Jesse Roper. No one else really knows who the hell he is. Most people out of BC don't know who he is in Canada, but enough people know him that there was people at the shows pretty much every night, relatively consistently. There's a couple shows where there wasn't many, so we were pretty lucky to do that. And yeah, we live in Vancouver Island, BC, which is essentially, if you look at a map of Canada, as far west as west goes, as close to Asia as North America gets, except for Alaska, is where we live on an island in the Pacific Ocean. And then we went all the way to the eastern side, Halifax,
Go left to right. Go left to right. Name all the cities.
that we played.
Yeah, name just so people can go like give a little reference to like where you went. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we live in Vancouver Island, and then you take a little ferry from Vancouver Island to Vancouver, BC, and we started in Vancouver, and then we went. This is west to east, pretty consistently throughout. From Vancouver, went to Kelowna, still in BC, and then we went to Alberta, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Slave Lake, Red Deer, which we didn't end up actually playing. So those were places in Alberta, and then we also did Calgary, big city, and then we were in Saskatchewan. We played Saskatoon, Regina, and then we went to Winnipeg in Manitoba. Winnipeg is a shithole.
Shithole.
Shithole,
Yeah.
absolute shithole. And then continue to go east now. We're like 4 provinces over or something like that. Ontario, we are in Thunder Bay, Sudbury, London, Hamilton, St. Catharines, London, Hamilton, and St. Catharines. I think you went to all those shows,
I did
and you went to
London. I
Toronto.
did London, Hamilton, St. Catharines, and Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, so you did 4 shows, and then we were in Toronto, and then we were in Burnstown, Ontario, and then we played Montreal, which is Quebec, and Quebec City, and then we played Fredericton, New Brunswick, and then we played Halifax, Nova Scotia. And Halifax, if you look at a map, is pretty much as east as North America goes, except for like places in the like northern
Like
Canada that is,
PEI.
yeah, PEI, I guess. And like northern Canada, for those of you not from Canada, is all ice. So essentially Canada is like the bottom third of Canada is pretty much where you travel. You just go the lower part of Canada. And if you go too high up, it's just a frozen tundra shithole that no one lives at pretty much
You
for the
can't
most
live.
part.
It's like really, it's like
Yeah.
uninhabitable. It's like -40 every day, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah. That's like the Northwest territory, the territories.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
huge country, but about 2/3 of it are just ice and snow. And 9 months out of the year, a lot of the other places, even on the lower third, is ice and snow. BC, where I live, happens to only snow like a week out of the year. It's kind of nice. I call it like the California of Canada. I think it's a good way to compare it because it's like got like the nicest weather of Canada for the most part, and not too hot, not too cold most of the time. And that was our tour. And you came to those 4 shows because they're kind of in your hood a little bit.
Yeah, I think from London over was definitely my neck of the woods, which was great.
Mhm.
I was like stunned when you gave me the tour list because you like showed me all the cities. I'm like, dude, this is like, where I grew up and stuff like that. So I'm like, this is
Yeah.
definitely like my bread and butter. You're never gonna come here on your own device because like
Why would you?
where I live is like a shithole. Where you live is
Yeah.
like beautiful weather.
Yeah.
It's just clean. It's great. You're not gonna
Yeah.
come to a place that's full of smog and shit. So just the fact that you were forced to come here
Mhm.
was pretty sick. What were your expectations? Because like obviously Jesse Roper's the big headliner. You're like
Yeah.
opening up for him. He did put some asses in the seat, which is great because you guys are like relatively unknown in Ontario. You know what I mean? Like
No one knows who we are. Yeah, yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So what was your expectation? Were you like fuck nobody's gonna go to the shows? Were you expecting more people to go to the shows? Because I remember like the four I went to, there was like decent showing.
Yeah, like
Nothing.
Toronto, there was maybe 100 people for reference, and that's a big city.
Although the Toronto was kind of fucked because you had a Blue
Yeah,
Jays game, you had Toronto versus Florida playoff game, the game that got
yeah,
eliminated actually. So
yeah.
you had like nobody's gonna go to like some small gig when there's just so many sports and shit going on. I think like Drake or something was in town, or no.
Some well,
Who was
Drake
in
lives
town? Who
there,
was in
I
town? It
think,
was
doesn't he?
Blink was in town. Blink 182
Oh
was also in town. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like their final tour, or is that Sum 41? I get them fucking confused.
I'm not sure, but Blink was in town.
Yeah,
It was a Blue Jays game. It was a fucking
yeah,
Leafs playoffs. There was no shot. I'm like, dude, there's nobody going to come in. And you still had, I think it was like 172 or something like that.
yeah. Like it was
But
decent
the
for
venue
sure.
only
And
fit 300, so it's still really
yeah,
good.
yeah. Most places were at like let's say 60% capacity. So like you book smaller rooms because like Jesse, the further east you go, I mean, with starting as West Coast goes for Canada, for North America even. He's pretty known there, and then the further east you go, the less known he becomes. So I wasn't like, by the time we got to Halifax, I wasn't expecting many people, but luckily the guitarist in the band, Pete, East Coast Pete, is from Halifax, so they kind of had representation on both sides.
Which one is
But
he
then the
again?
middle, guitarist,
Okay,
East
yeah.
Coast Pete,
Because
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
drummer went to school in St. Catharines or some
He
shit.
was from St. Catharines, Brent,
Yeah, so
yeah,
when he came down, like we were talking about the neck of the woods there, which is kind of cool.
yeah,
It was interesting. I think like it's kind of cool because I figured like you guys don't know where you're going, but then you're like, oh no, my girlfriend lives here or something like that. So it's
yeah.
like, oh okay, it's relatable. You know what I mean? I was just playing groupie
Mm-hmm.
the whole
Bought
time.
pizza. He bought pizza for everyone.
I bought pizza for the boys. Tony G's local place.
Just desperately trying to win everyone over with money.
And it
The
worked.
only, the only way you know how.
And it worked, and it worked. No, I had a good
It
time. I
worked.
had a good time. I
Yeah.
My job was to just like kind of help you out. I took obviously the whole week off on
Yeah.
vacation, so I was like, I'm just gonna hang out with you guys, make it easier for you. I mean, you guys had a pretty rough go sometimes. Like it wasn't like there wasn't much in terms of support. You guys kind of had to support each other. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
opening band, it's not like you guys got sound checks. You barely even got like time to figure shit out because you're like the opening
No.
band. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Just your experience on like kind of eating shit. But this is almost like the paying your dues part of being a new band. No.
100%. Yeah. It's sort of like, when you first become a caster or something, you got to cast 500 Zotacs and then maybe you get a big tournament. It's like that over and over again. Um, you got to do the B stream, and then eventually maybe you're on the A stream, or you got to do the C stream. We've had those before in Warcraft. We've had like 3 streams going at the same time. So for opening is pretty similar. Like opening bands, essentially the purpose of an opening act, most cases, we were lucky again with Jesse because one, he's under the same management as us. And two, he's a really nice guy. So he really was doing as much as he could to allow us to sound as good as we can and have as much space and time as we needed to set up and all that when it was possible. Three, our drummer that was touring with us, Sasha, is also Jesse's sound guy, was hired to be Jesse's sound guy. So our front of house sound tech for Jesse and us and our drummer, same person, which made it nice because then we sort of had a little bit more uh, awareness about our sound because he was fucking playing with us. But generally, the point of an opening act is to make the headliner seem better. Like I remember I saw Pearl Jam in 2012, I think, and Mudhoney opened for them. Mudhoney is like a really well-known Seattle band, like grunge scene, all that shit. Late 80s, early 90s. Really well known. They're a huge band, and they're opening for Pearl Jam. Obviously, they have to be big. They sounded fucking awful. They sounded so bad. It was in an arena. Arenas always sound pretty bad. It was like BC Place or something in Vancouver. They sounded so bad. You couldn't hear anything. It was awful. The PA might as well not even been on. The drums sounded like they weren't mic'd at all. There was no low end. You couldn't hear the vocals. And then Pearl Jam goes on. and they just sound incredible. It's like, oh my god, they sound so much better than Mudhoney. That's the purpose of an opener. Even if you're a big band like Mudhoney, it's always to make the headliners seem better. So you eat shit in terms of your sound quality. They purposely, a lot of the time, um, will make you sound worse. For instance, we play with another Canadian band, 5440, which if you're Canadian and your parents are in their 50s, they'll know who they are. If not, you won't know. But we opened for 5440 just last night. And there was 3 acts. There was an opener for us, and then we opened for 5440. So the opener for us played a half an hour. We played an hour. 5440 played about an hour and 45. Literally after our opener finished playing, they wheeled out with like 5 guys, 2 huge speakers, and put them next to the stage and set them up for us to play. And then when we were done our hour set, they wheeled out 4 more speakers and put them under the stage for 5440 to play. So they just added on and added on and added on. And then people that don't know, oh, those are big speakers. Oh, those are going to make it sound better and brighter and more beautiful and more low end. People that don't know that, it's just like, oh my God, this band sounds way better than the last. They must just be way, way better. Which in the case of an opener is like with Mudhoney and Pearl Jam. Mudhoney might be as tight as Pearl Jam. They're a pretty big band,
Mm-hmm.
but they create the illusion that the headliner is much tighter, much better, much louder. And when you hear things that are loud, there's a cognitive dissonance. So you always, as an opener, eat shit, and that's kind of your purpose. But we were lucky again. Jesse's a really nice guy, and he understands. He's opened for a band called Big Wreck. That was his big opening tour. Was he opened for Big Wreck for like a cross North American
It's a
tour
great
when he
band.
was, yeah, like 10 years ago, right, when he was starting off. Um, and so he sort of gets it. He gets where we're at. So he created every opportunity for us to get proper sound checks, for us to be comfortable on stage, for us to be able to, use their gear when we could. For instance, we got to use their drum kit and their bass rig, which a lot of the time, if you're opening last night, we had to bring our own drum kit, our own bass rig. They have to mic it separately. You get a lot less microphones on the drums. Generally, you'll have like 10 mics on the drums, kick drum, snare drum, 2 on the hi-hat, 2 overheads. Every tom is individually mic'd. But if you're an opener, they just say, oh, I'll throw one in the kick and I'll throw one overhead on. Good luck. Your snare's not mic'd. Don't give a shit, sort of thing. But for us, we got to borrow a drum kit. So many opportunities. So generally as an opener, you eat shit. But in this case, we didn't. Um, but yeah, so it's we were very, very fortunate not only to get on the tour, but to be in the situation that we were in.
I thought it was pretty incredible, having been to a few shows. I like once you see 1 or 2 shows, I get a pretty good take on your band and Jesse Roper. I thought you guys were
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, by the way. The Banks Brothers guys, I know Back to Warcraft's been hyping the band up. I know we used to play your shit during Dust League all the time. It would
Yeah.
piss you off, but you
Yeah.
guys are fucking good live, and that's rare. That's rare to see a band because you can be like an edit monster. I'm thinking of like Sum 41. Like their
Oh yeah,
music's
for
so
sure.
good on the radio, and then I saw them live when I was like 13, which was kind of
Yeah.
like peak Sum 41, and they were garbage. And maybe they did
Yeah.
have that opener bullshit where they didn't get a sound check because the sound was really, really bad. I remember they opened for
Mm-hmm.
Motley Crue, and it was just like it was so bad. But that might have been because they were screwed over. You were
Yeah.
definitely lucky that you had Sash on board, obviously because he's playing drums in your band. So he doesn't want
Yeah.
you guys to sound like shit. But there were
Yeah.
times where it was just plug and play. Like you had no sound
Lots of
whatsoever.
times.
And you were
Yeah.
doing like the first song was just like a test. So imagine just wasting your first song and then be
Yeah.
like, yeah, can you turn my acoustic up? Can you turn this up? Can you turn that down? And the way you
Yes.
guys handled that on the fly is really, really sick. I loved every show. I thought there were some shows where you actually outshined Jesse, which is fucking crazy, even though he's got all the fucking tune up thing. I mean, that may be a little biased, but I really enjoyed the shows. I want to ask you about like, obviously, this isn't your first time playing live. You guys do local live all the time. I would say you
Yep.
guys are pretty seasoned before you went on tour, but did you change anything like in terms of like how you did solos or how you did anything versus when you were like doing local, like on tour, or did you just kind of play the same way that you've been playing at local while you're on tour, or as you kept doing like day by day? Was there anything that changed? Because keep in mind, you guys are getting
Yeah.
tired, you guys are getting sick,
Yeah.
you guys are getting all this
Mm-hmm.
shit. You're playing 20
Yeah.
days straight.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything change in the way your dynamic?
Yeah, well, obviously at the beginning of the tour, like we had my friend who Kaz. He was our bass player for a long time, but he also has a full-time job. He owns a business here, so he couldn't go on tour. He had to work. So he normally plays bass for us, and then Gray, who you also know, was our drummer. He played drums before we had Sasha, the sound guy for both of us. Before we had Sasha, Sasha was just our sound guy and didn't play in the band. Gray was our drummer and Kaz was our bass player. Kaz couldn't come on tour, so Gray, who's a multi instrumentalist, he plays piano, he plays guitar, he plays bass, and he plays drums. He was like, I'll learn the songs, I'll learn all the tunes, and I'll play bass. And then we managed to get Sasha on board. Also sweetened the deal by allowing him to do front of house for Jesse, which gives him a little bit more money, you know. So that was a big change, right? Because we had not only a new drummer, but also our old drummer was now playing bass, essentially a new bassist. So that was different from hometown. And then when we play locally, we can get Kaz if we want, but we've been playing with Sasha just to sort of keep up the momentum. But yeah, everything's changed every night. Like when we did get sound checks, which was maybe 50% of the time. Other than that, it was just plug in and fucking hope it works. Hope everything works. When we did get sound checks, we made sure to run stuff. And when we were in the van traveling, like sometimes 12-hour drive days, we would talk, especially me and Sasha, who are more like the we've both gone to music school and stuff, so we can like sort of talk about things more abstractly and sort of figure it out just through talking. And then we work it out with the band afterwards. So we talked a lot about the song structures and how to change things and how to make things tighter and things that weren't working. And we would just always workshop things. When we got that little bit of like that half an hour sound check, you only need 10 minutes to really do a line check and get your levels and get your monitors. And then you have 20 minutes of like, you guys just want to play some tunes and work them out. So we'd slowly adjust things. Like you might not notice show to show to show, but if you heard our first show in Cologne or Vancouver, our last show in Halifax, there's a lot of big differences in terms of like tightness and some structural changes and shit like that.
What city was your favorite? And I mean, this could be in terms of like it was a great gig or the crowd
Yeah.
was great, or where did you really have a good time?
I really liked Saskatoon. That was our first day off. We were in Saskatoon and we played a venue, and then the next day we had off. And the day off, we were at this hotel. There's just in a beautiful area. There's like this river that runs through Saskatoon. And we were right next to that like river. I think it was a river, or whatever you call it. It runs through, and we were across the street from a park that was just like beautiful park. It had a Ferris wheel, had like
You
nobody in it,
love that shit. You love
no
Ferris
homeless
wheels. You
people.
love circus
Yeah,
stuff. You
man, I
you
fucking
always
love it.
talk about going to Disney and shit. Like you love that stuff.
Oh,
You're
we're
like
going to Disneyland. We're going in September. Don't
yeah,
worry.
we're definitely gonna go.
Yeah,
You love that. You love anything that's
yeah.
like a 6-year-old would love, though.
Oh, it was awesome. Oh, and the hotel had a pool and a hot tub, and a gym, which we didn't get to the gym at all the whole time. But and yeah, the day off, we went out for dinner. We got chicken wings. We did mushrooms. We went in the pool, and then we went and walked around the park. And the park, we were in there at like 11 p.m. Not a single person, which is perfect when you're on mushrooms because you're like, where are the homeless people that are gonna murder me?
Right.
Nowhere.
You're
It
tripping
was
balls.
great.
Never done
It
mushrooms,
was
but I imagine you're
it was
tripping
great.
balls.
It's not that crazy. It's not
Mm.
that crazy, honestly. You're pretty, I mean, unless you're like very prone to like freaking out, you can be pretty level. Like for instance, I did them with Sasha and Gray, and Morgan and Nelson didn't even know that we had done
And
mushrooms.
they like live with you and they see you all the time and they had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to ask off of that, because Jesse Roper's more of like, I find they're more mature, like they're married, they're kind of like collected. They're not the type of main opener that's trying to get like fucked up after a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So was there ever a moment? I mean, I know we got pretty sauced up on some of these nights there, but is there any night where you did get out and had a good time? And was it the Saskatoon show or?
We were gonna go bowling in Saskatoon with Jesse's band, but we didn't. We ended up we went out with them Halifax. We got like donaires and had beers with them and stuff. We hung out pretty much every night. Like the first 10 shows, maybe let's say first 5 shows, we were just sort of like, hey, how's it going? Which is how it always is. But then eventually, like everyone in my band is pretty social. Like they're all pretty normal, cool guys, and no one is really too much of an asshole. Everyone's pretty friendly.
Yeah, they were
Like,
cool guys. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, like especially like Nelson is just like the sweetest, nicest little boy in the entire world.
Yeah, he is.
And Sasha's super pro, and Gray is like always a really good vibe, and Morgan is like the person that everyone wants to talk to. He's sort of like he walks into a room and he sort of commands it a little bit. Like I'd say of my band, I'm the least social, and I fucking stream for a living. I mean, come on, I can talk to people, right? Get with it. But yeah, so like we're good. We could talk to people. We could befriend people. So like 5 shows in, we were just hanging out every night. Like the green room that is supposed to be their green room, we were in there every night. We were hanging out. We were drinking. But they don't drink before shows. They have like a beer after the show. But they're really health conscious because they're older. They're in their 40s, right? And
yeah, I
got sick.
Yeah, I got a very mature vibe. You were getting sick towards the time that I came to see you, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, I think I went to the 9 show, like the 9th show.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to push anything, but I did kind of want to party after. You know what I mean? You guys are on tour, you're having a good time, and it was always like, we're saving for Toronto. We're saving for Toronto. We're not going to
Yeah.
get fucked up. We're going to save for Toronto. And I'm like, okay, well, this city's pretty good too. Nope, we're going to
Yeah.
save for Toronto. We're staying in bed. And then Toronto came, and we had a good time. We had a pretty good time.
Yeah, we did.
We got pretty sauced up. I remember throwing up all over the streets of Toronto.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then we tried to get into that club and we couldn't get in. And then, yeah.
Yeah, we could not get in. Where else did we go? We went to like a wine place where they were selling like $10 bottles or something like that after the show.
Yeah. And we walked around. We took that streetcar and stuff, all stuff that I had never done. So that was it's just a streetcar, but it was cool. Yeah.
I got a question for you though, because you've obviously been to Vancouver. First time in Toronto?
First time anywhere other than Vancouver, Victoria, and Canada. Hadn't even been to Kelowna, which is a couple hours away.
Sheltered Harry Potter motherfucker. Okay, so
yeah, I know, dude.
It was really fucking packed in Toronto. Did you go out at all, or were you in the venue all day? Because when I was driving to the venue at like 6, 7, I've never seen Toronto so packed. Was that your Did you get any like taste of like, holy fuck, this is a busy
we walked down that main drag and we went to that big ass nice fucking park. It's super nice. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't really know Toronto that much. I try not to go.
Extremely nice park. Yeah, so we walked down this pretty busy road with a lot happening. When we got into Toronto, I assume it's a main drag. And then there's this really nice park. It's just a beautiful area. And we hung out. We had some drinks in the park. We went and we got, was it Cuban food? Like a Cuban sandwich? Essentially a fucking grilled cheese sandwich.
Cubano.
Yeah. Can I say this about food? I'm fucking so tired of people with their food takes. Oh my God. So here's the thing.
Okay.
You know, I like food. I like eating. I cook. I eat a lot of the same stuff. You know, I like my spaghettis. I like my stir fries.
Beans on toast.
Beans on toast, delicious. You know,
yeah.
I like, you know, I like a good beef dip. I like sushi, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You love butter chicken. You like a good butter chicken.
Butter chicken. Indian food is delicious.
Mm-hmm. Love and you did get a nice taste of butter chicken Niagara Falls.
That was great.
And I was like a little nervous because I'm like, this guy eats butter chicken a lot. When I came down there, we did have delicious butter chicken.
That was great. It was probably the best I've ever had. It was great.
That was the best butter chicken you ever had down here?
Yeah, I haven't had it from many restaurants. I've only had maybe a few places that are local here and mostly just cook it at home. My mom always cooked it all the time.
Yeah, the server was really nice too. My dad got like a $15 fucking milkshake or something like that. I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. But okay, go on with your food tangent. You're about to rip some head off here.
Yeah, so it's people with the need to be like, this is the best thing ever. So like anytime anything is like a little bit, but anytime anything's like a little bit different. Like we got this Cuban sandwich thing in Toronto, right? And you know, or like poutine in Montreal, or as you might say, poutine.
Yeah,
in Montreal, people are like freaking out. Or like, what's that place in Montreal that's like the smoked meat sandwich, right? The people line up out the door.
Yeah, Montreal
200, 300 people. It's like, you know, people are like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's incredible. When really it's just like different. Like people just feel the need to be like, it's so good. It's so good. It's this Cuban sandwich. You're not going to believe. And then I get it. And it's like, it's all right, but it's a grilled cheese sandwich with fucking pickles on it. That's all it was. But people freak out over this shit. And if you say you don't like it, what they say to you, if you go to like this weird place, dive restaurant, hole in the wall, local, and they want to feel all cool and they want to bring you to this restaurant, it's like, this is the greatest thing ever, believe me. And you're like, oh yeah, it's good. It's not like crazy good though. Like it's all right. It's fine. What they do to you is they say, oh my God, you're not experimental with your food. Oh my God, what you're so weird. Yeah, why don't you go home and make your spaghetti? Why don't you go and get your cheeseburger? You really want to have another cheeseburger? It's like, fuck off. It's not that good. All right. People do that with every food that's of a different culture.
I think people just want to hype up their local shit, right? Now the thing about Montreal when you get a poutine is it's the local ingredients. It's that St. Albert's cheese curd.
Same as the poutine we get.
No
over here,
way, dude.
It can't. We tried multiple. We tried different places.
Yeah, but don't go to Smokes. You go to like a chip truck in Montreal. You don't go to like you don't go to a franchise chain poutine place. You go to like
well, we got it wasn't that. It was a franchise place in Quebec City, but I forget what it was called. But we also got it from like a really popular local place as well.
So if you ever go to Montreal and you can go to like a corner store and they sell St. Albert's cheese curds, and when you eat it, you hear the squeak from the cheese, like it's just a fresh, great cheese. That's the cheese they put on a poutine. That's like at least at like a mom and pop chip truck or something like that.
Right. But I would expect at least the average poutine to be higher quality than the average poutine over here.
For sure, but a franchise is a franchise, right? They're gonna have the same shit. You go to Subway here.
The one place we went in Montreal was not a franchise,
and you were not impressed.
It was fine. It was great. It was fine, but it was just like, okay, now we've done it. Like I like poutine, you
Mm.
know, it's as good as you can get it over here, but it's not like this is the most incredible thing ever. And people say like Montreal bagels, man, Montreal bagels.
I don't know. I've
I didn't
never
get to
tried.
try. I
Yeah.
didn't get to try one, unfortunately. But I'm sure if I ate it, I'd be like, this is a bagel, and then everyone else would be like, what do you mean it's just a bagel? You'd have no taste buds, man. It's like, fuck
Yeah.
off,
It's
dude.
like a New
Give me a
York
good steak.
pretzel. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
got lobster in Halifax. It's the same as the lobster over here because they ship them alive. Nothing changes. They're just younger over there. Like a good young lobster in
so
Halifax.
what blew
Yeah.
you away? The butter chicken blew you away. What else blew you
That
away?
was great. That was great. Well, I had a $150 lobster in Halifax. That was great. We got a lobster roll in Peggy's Cove in Halifax, which is like looks like it's out of a painting. It's like a bunch of water and rocks and lighthouse,
That'll
and we
run you
got a
30
lobster
bucks, right?
50.
I'm sorry,
I
what?
think with a drink after tax and tip, it was 50, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which it was great. It was fine, you know. It
It's an
was lobster
experience.
room.
It's an
It's
experience.
what, yeah. It was like we tried food like that all along the way, but it's just like, come on, like fuck off. It's not that good. It's like it's all right. It's food. It's great. I'm happy, you know. But it's like not. I was blown away by nothing, and believe me, we went out of our way to try lots of different food. You know,
You're just happy to be home and have your beans on toast at the end of the day. It's so fucking
it's
pathetic.
yeah. Like I'll make a stir fry tonight that I like probably more than anything I ate on tour. And people will say that like, oh, you know, you just don't know what you're talking about. I always mock my roommate Morgan about that. I always say like, oh, you don't like something unless it's squid. We have a running joke about squid because he's always into like getting weird stuff. Like he likes going to like
Mm.
the Asian supermarket and getting like weird stuff.
Like
He's like,
weird sauces and stuff
you gotta
like
try
that.
these fish eggs, man. It's like, all right, I like chicken strips with honey mustard.
He's a
I mean,
foodie. He's a foodie.
yeah.
He's a
I hate
foodie.
that word too. I hate the word foodie.
Yeah,
I hate the
I
word
don't like that either.
foodie.
But it is a
I hate.
thing. You know, I do get it. That's
Yeah,
so
how can you
funny.
have the moral high ground with food, man? You know what I mean? We all like to eat. Man's got to eat.
Man's
I
gotta
like
eat.
things that taste good, taste good. I experiment. I try different things. Like I said, you know, I like sushi. I like Indian food, shit like that. Sure. But like, don't go on about this, how this fucking Cuban sandwich is the greatest thing ever. It's a fucking grilled cheese sandwich, man.
Yeah, especially if they go like, "Oh, this is the you gotta go to Tony Romo's. It's the
You
great.
gotta go, man.
It's the best
Yeah.
grilled cheese you'll ever have." And then you get it. It's like I could make this at home with a fucking fry pan. You know what I mean? Not even on hot.
Exactly. Yeah. And I get
Um,
tourist traps. I get that. I get that those exist and they're not crazy. The hole in the wall place a lot of the time are better. That's what that Indian restaurant that we went to was.
mhm.
You know, I get that there's tourist traps that aren't actually that good, and there is truly places that are really, really good. But like, you know, just because it's different and just because a place is known for it does not mean that it's actually that good. Just
And
the place is known
sometimes,
for it.
sometimes,
That's it.
especially like big cities like Toronto and Vancouver, sometimes you have to go away from the touristy shit to find the
Yeah.
gems. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because you're gonna pay up the ass sometimes for like a fucking dinner. But if you just go
Yeah.
down the street, like we're talking like a kilometer down the street, you're gonna find a mom and pop that's delicious, it's super cheap, and it's
Yeah.
affordable. The locals know about it. You gotta ask the
Yeah.
locals sometimes because you just get tourist trapped, like you said.
Yeah.
Especially you guys, you don't know where you're going and stuff like that. I tried to direct you a little bit when you were in like the head areas, where to go and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, they'll nab you. They'll nab you.
Yeah, and like I'm from Vancouver, right? In Vancouver, a lot of Asians. It's close to the water. Sushi's huge in Vancouver. There's so many sushi restaurants.
You guys don't
and
have all
it's
you can
so
eat
cheap.
though.
We do have all you can eat in certain
Okay.
places. I've never done it personally though, but like I've been to so many different sushi restaurants, and I've also been to, I think it was called Maguro's. I'm trying to remember. It was somewhere in Vancouver in like Kitsilano, if you're familiar with the area, which was supposed to be like the best sushi place like 10, 12 years ago. Like that's the place. Really expensive. You have to reserve in advance. And I've been to that place, and I've been to like 2 dozen other sushi places in Vancouver. I've very rarely had bad sushi. Sushi that's notably worse than any other place. It's pretty much all the same, man.
It
Now
is
again,
kind of.
I don't experiment a lot with sushi. I get pretty basic rolls, all that, you know.
Hmm.
But it's all pretty much the
What
same.
kind of rolls do
you
you
know?
got?
I like Dynamite California. I like the salmon rolls and stuff. I normally just get whatever. Like those are my two
Yeah,
standard.
I like
basic
mango
fish rolls.
salmon. It's also known as mango tango. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like barbecue eel. I like barbecue eel sauce.
Yeah,
It's like that.
we got it. We got some eel rolls in somewhere in Quebec, which isn't supposed to be great sushi either when you're in the not close to the water, you know.
You're in the thick of it, and you actually
Yeah.
just got back in time because the Alberta fires, dude. Like Montreal's covered in smoke. We're covered in smoke
Yeah.
right now. It's
Up
kind of
Island is
fucked.
now too because Kelowna is on fire, and so Up Island, we were Up Island yesterday playing a show, and there's smoke up there. But we happen to be we're in the southern part of the island. In the northern part of the island I live on is very smoky.
But you guys get a lot of rain to like ease that off, so
Lots of rain. Yeah,
it's not a big
rain
deal.
rain the past couple days now. It rained all day yesterday. We were worried we were gonna get electrocuted on stage.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, because it was outdoor. The place we played it outdoor.
Was it a little scary? It didn't rain at all?
It stopped raining at 3 o'clock. We went on at 5:15.
Don't you guys get a fuckload of rain? Like if it's 365 days in a year, you get like 330 days of rain?
Like 200 days a year? I don't know. Let me Google it. Days of
It's something
rain,
stupid.
Per year. I'll say in Vancouver, but oh, it's like 150 around. Yeah.
Jesus, that's half the year, bud.
Yeah. There's been 73 days of rain in Vancouver this year already.
Okay. And
but the year's not done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
mind the rain though.
I did want to say, going back to the tour thing, a lot of songs I didn't get to hear. You didn't send me the playlist. You said you were going to, motherfucker. I knew you were busy though. But I do got to say, like, there's a lot of songs that aren't out yet that I'm really looking forward to hearing. Like,
we're going in the studio this month. We're gonna record Getting Close.
Oh, that I was just gonna say. I think I'm Getting Close is your best song by far.
It is.
That
is
for
sure the best song.
An absolute banger, and people have no idea what the fuck we're talking about, but that's because you should have went to the show. All right. So is that the next release, or is there something else before that?
We've released 2 songs.
Dude, you guys are cock jerking us so bad with the Spotify thing. Why? Okay, I got a beef. You got a foodie beef. I got a beef. Okay.
All right.
My beef is, and I'm not a music manager. I don't know. I'm a complete moron. Okay, you guys all know this. My beef is, I am let's say I'm Joe Blow, and I've talked to you about this over and over again, so I'm just repeating this at this point, but I'm going to go for the pod here, right? I'm Joe Blow, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take the wife or whatever over to the show. I'm going to see the show, and I see this opener called the Banks Brothers. And
the wife, someone else is going to fuck her in front of you later on. Go on, continue the story, just to set up the character of Joe Blow here.
Right, so Joe Blow likes that kind of stuff, okay?
He's a cock, really, that's
Joe Blow,
he likes to watch.
But he also loves music.
Pegging.
But he also loves
music too.
Okay, so he loves music. So Joe Blow's thing is, I'm gonna go to a show. I'm gonna see the show, and then the opener comes out, and you're like not really paying attention, right? Because you're waiting for the main attraction, and then bam, like Banks Brothers. Okay, this song's pretty good. Okay, and then you guys play. I think I'm Getting Close. Okay, this is good. I fall in love with your band in the 45 minutes that I don't even fuck the main event. I don't even care.
Yeah,
that was me, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking this has got to be other people. But so now I'm like, okay, well, fucking, I go on Spotify and I look you guys up, and there's only 2 songs.
Yeah.
Well, 1 song at the time, right?
Yeah. We released the second song during the tour. I think the 14th of May. It was the second release.
So, and I guess your management thinks like, let's just milk this song for as much as we can, then release the other one, milk that one as much as we can, then release the other one, milk as much as we can. But you guys just went on tour, and there's tons of word of mouth. There's tons of fucking people wondering like, oh, I love this song, but I can't listen to it. Like, I think I'm Getting Close. Nobody can listen to it right now even. And I'm thinking like, the way the world works, it moves so fast. And maybe I'm wrong, but the world moves so fast that if I see you on Tuesday and I want to binge you guys on Spotify Wednesday, if I don't have that opportunity, I've forgotten all about you on Thursday. Like, it's as simple as me opening my phone and going, Spotify, Banks Brothers, oh, they only have 1 song. Oh, fuck it. And I just move on.
Right.
And that's a potential listen. That's a potential like, oh, mom, you have to check the song. Dad, you have to check the song. Girlfriend, tell your friends about this band. Oh, when are they coming back? They're so good. You're going to love them. Went to the show. Like, I'm thinking about all the boomer moms that are like, oh my God, I love this show. You know what I mean? And I feel like you just like didn't have that. There's no way to really fall in love with you guys outside of going to the show. And I felt like it was kind of a waste. And I was pissed off that we can't listen to all the tracks that I just heard at the show.
Well, let me tell you something about recording music, Ricky.
Okay.
When you record music, you do your demos. You write the songs, you do your demos. The demos most oftentimes really suck unless you have somebody in your band that's super, super good at production. I think the guy from Vampire Weekend is like a master at production. If you listen to their first album, self-titled, incredible production. I think that's actually one of the guys in Vampire Weekend that does a lot of production. If you listen to a band called Foxygen, I believe they do their own production, if I'm remembering correctly. Incredible production.
Foxygen.
Amazing. Foxygen. Sick band. There's some bands that do that, and they have producers in their band. LCD Sound System, my favorite band of all time. James Murphy does all the production. It's incredible. He's super talented. Most of the time in your band, though, you don't have the people that have the talent or the technology or the gear to do it. So what you have to do is you have to find a producer. The producer is the person that knows all the technology and oftentimes has all the gear, and they can help you find the sounds and record the songs. And not only do you have to find a producer, but you have to find a recording studio that has the space to record, the instruments, some of the time to record, all the microphones, all the offboard gear, 100 compressors, EQs, 6 consoles,
Yeah,
actually.
dog cam, cat
Um,
cam.
yeah, cam, yeah, Guitar Hero guitar, all that shit. You got to find something. So you got to find those two things. And a lot of the times, if you find a producer, you also need to find an engineer who runs all the stuff, and the producer just runs around and helps you get your sound. We happen to find one guy, Steve, who has all that. He has a studio in Vancouver. He's a producer, and he also does the engineering. He does the mixing, and then we send it off to someone. So you often at times you need to pay for all that. And in the case of the guy we found, he does it all, but we still need to pay him as though we were paying for all that. So to record 6 songs, Ricky, is a lot of money. Let me tell you, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's
Yeah, I hear you. So
five five figure.
what I got from that then is it's
Yep.
just premature. Like this tour was premature, so it's really just practice. Just get as much practice you guys
Yes.
can,
It
because
was an opportunity, and we took the opportunity.
100%. Which I
Yeah.
don't fault that, but it's like
Yeah.
I was just like thinking about how to min max, right? That's how my brain works. How to min max,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, that
This
sucks
is
that
min
you.
maxing. This is min maxing though, because what we're doing is we're slow rolling. So the songs we have currently, we have 7 songs recorded. We're gonna record an 8th at the end, and we're just instead of releasing them all at once and then people listen to it for a week and forget about it, you release one. Your first single that's done pretty well. We're almost at 30K listens, which we're happy with. That was about our goal. It's got on satellite radio. It got on our local radio. Is the OHL official playoff tune. Like, it did really well. Second single, not so much, but whatever. Not all of them are gonna pop off as much as the first. And then we slowly roll them out. So we get our money's worth. So that there's relevancy consistently. So far we've managed to keep relevancy with the first single for 3 months. This single's been out for a month. Maybe release another one sometime this month because the second single's not doing as well. So maybe the third one will do better. And you keep that stream of relevancy with music being released forever, as opposed to all 7 songs just being out. And then that stream of relevancy is like a month and a half, and everyone forgets about you unless your album takes off, which is we're not
Mm,
banking on. So you slow roll it, and that is min maxing, and release a song, release a song, release a song. And then eventually, when you have 3, 4 singles out, then you go, boom, here's the full release. And then you go into the studio and you record more, and then you have another single for another release out, a few months, 5 months after the entire album's out. So it's about milking it as much as you can, because the shit's expensive and you can't record music. You can't record 30 songs a year at our level. You need to milk those 10 songs you can afford to record.
okay, I get it.
And you need to pay for artwork, and you need to pay for mastering. Mastering costs I forget what it costs. I think it costs like $500 a track or something to get tunes mastered, which is essentially just making everything loud enough and consistent enough throughout, essentially.
Okay. I mean, you took me to school there. I get it. I was just, I was just venting a little bit. I do understand that
Yeah.
there's tons of other logistics that go into
I
even
will
recording one
agree
fucking
though, is
song.
we've been really slow with our release, but only because that first single did so good for us. It did huge. Like getting on satellite radio. Let me tell you something about satellite radio, Ricky. Guess how much money? Because you know YouTube, Twitch ads, Spotify. You know how much money you make, which is barely anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we barely make anything. YouTube and
Is it
Twitch and
doesn't
all that shit.
satellite radio still crush?
Guess how much you get per play on most satellite radio stations.
1/10 of a cent.
That's about Spotify. Guess one more. I'll give you one more
One
option.
hundredth of a cent.
On satellite radio per play, this is US. I might get this number slightly wrong. Somebody can call me out if I am. I'm doing this off memory. And we got one track on satellite radio, our first single.
Okay.
Like the first week, which is insane for a new band with no music that no one knows. For our first single,
Yeah, hit me with the numbers though.
$40 to $80 per play.
Wait, what? What did
And
you
we got
just say?
our single
40
got
to
on
$80 per play, and you're on satellite radio like buzzing, like you're playing at 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yeah, I forget. We were on satellite radio for 3 months. I think it just finished up, or maybe we're just finishing up now. About that per play. Don't exactly know. It depends on the time of day. Obviously, better ads at better times, etc. People listening, all that.
Are you guys getting
And
milked like a cow though by your management? They take everything.
no, no,
So you guys are
no.
crushing.
And yeah, it's not like it's one play per day. It's quite a few plays per day for 3 months. So like one song on satellite radio paid our whole album almost.
So like when all these like songs go on, like Bieber is on, like he's getting played like 10 times an hour.
Satellite radio though, like we were on the verge, but better than or different than normal radio. Normal radio does not pay that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because satellite radio is international, right? It's especially in America. You can make a lot more money in America than you are playing on Canadian radio because of just how advertisement works, people, density and populations, etc.
So I'm really
So yeah,
stupid. So where is satellite radio being played? Like, do I have to go on the
everywhere.
verge.com and I can play it?
You pay for it in your car. You pay for satellite radio.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
So
pretty sure
that's
how it
like
works.
what Sirius XM is and shit.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
The
Howard
Verge
Stern.
is on Sirius XM.
Okay. All right. Big shout out to
Yes,
Howard
yeah.
Stern, crushing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got one single on there, which is the first single, which paid for our whole album essentially. Paid for our whole album essentially. And we got on the OHL playoffs, and we were still getting 500 listens a day almost by the time the second single was being released. So we were like, the first single was doing so well that we were like, fuck, do we release the next one? It's still doing good. Oh, we're still making money. Oh, people are still picking it up. Et cetera, et cetera. It seems like from your point of view, we're just not releasing shit, but really that single just kept doing stuff for us. So
Do
we
you
just
get a
waited to
say in
release the
that
second.
decision making or no?
We get a say for sure, but I'm only one person in a 4-person band. And
yeah, but I meant like the band versus the management. Like, does the management go, oh no?
The point of managers is to listen to them because they're supposed to know what they're doing, So, we could argue a point, we can disagree with things, but at the end of the day, they're putting the work in and they tend to know better. So, like, if we really disagree with something, especially creative decisions, there's been a lot where they put their hat in the ring creatively and we're like, no. But, for that sort of stuff, that is what managers are for, in our case.
Yeah. We're recording on today's June 11th, which means is it June 11th? 6/11. Yeah, June 11th.
Yeah.
Put myself on the spot there, really.
Yeah, you did. Dude.
But
what 2 plus 5, Ricky, go.
2 plus 5? 7? That was a long delay. But what happened today was the Stormgate release. I do want to touch on that a little bit. You were on the panel for Back to Warcraft, obviously watching with Neo. I did watch a little bit as well. Didn't catch much of the Neo and Monk talk after.
No, I was listening to it before we started this. So I might go back and listen to the thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty enlightening though, which is good. Your first takes, obviously. I don't know. I know Back to Warcraft's like deep in the table where like they're gonna get all access and shit like that. And I know Monk wants to work with you guys, and Stormgate wants to work with you guys, which is good. But did you see anything before that, or was that your first take too?
Yeah, so I know there was some like private thing that was for like certain community members, including Back to Warcraft. I think Neo said that on stream today, so there's nothing like that I'm not supposed to say. There's nothing that I know that I'm not supposed to say yet. That was when I was away in May at some point, so I wasn't there. So Neo and a lot of other people got some insider stuff, and I think they saw the footage that we saw today beforehand. I'm not sure. But pretty much because I wasn't there and because I've been away for so long, I don't know anything about the game. I saw some screenshots on Reddit that I think Cruncher sent me on our Discord. And then I saw the footage today for the first time. So that's pretty much. I've seen less than most of the community, despite being a little bit on the inside.
I heard your take. Obviously, you're pretty optimistic. For those of you that didn't,
I don't think it was that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad at all. You're pretty tame, actually. For those that didn't watch, though, what was your overall take? I thought you were. I mean, we're talking pre-alpha, guys. It's so fucking goddamn early. Like it's pre-alpha. Isn't alpha the first like launch?
Yeah.
There's nothing before alpha, right? It's alpha, beta.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
And in your case, there's nothing after or before beta.
Well, so alpha, beta. I know delta's D, C is Charlie, right? Is there a Charlie release or no?
I don't know.
I've never seen a game go Charlie release, right? It's usually alpha and beta, and then the launch. But
beta.
Jesse beta, classic.
I love that guy.
Bass, super bass, by the way, Jesse.
Super bass.
Okay, so go ahead with your take on all this. We'll probably, if we do launch this on YouTube, we'll probably like link the VOD of where they talk about it on PC Gamer, just so you guys have like some idea. But what was your take on it? I obviously have a take as well. So
so there's a side to this before my personal take where there's 2 things. One, I feel in general people's takes on this game have been relatively pessimistic. It feels like people really want to hate the game. They just want to be negative about it, it seems. Even when today's preview was like really not that bad. Like it's not like it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be as good as Warcraft. It's not gonna be as good as Warcraft or StarCraft. I'm
No.
sorry, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. They don't have the tools, they don't have the staff, they don't have the opportunity to make a game as good as that, because how often are you gonna be able to make a game better than Warcraft? It's probably never gonna happen
Right.
in terms of RTS games. So people are being I feel like really pessimistic. And then when someone, especially in my position, counters the pessimism by saying, "Oh, it's actually not that bad. I think it was pretty good
You're
today."
being paid. You're being paid. You
I'm
shill.
immediately a shill,
Yeah.
right? So it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to try to counteract that negativity, and it's also hard for me to be overly positive at all. I would say, like in a forward positive way, it would be like, "Oh, that's so good," because like I have to tame that, because then people are like, "Okay, you're just being an industry baby right now," sort of thing. But my honest view is here. I'll literally read what I said. I don't even remember what I said in the Discord, but we have a Valorant chat that we play in. We have a Valorant chat with me, Ricky, Fish, Hailua, Insup, Tom. Those are the people that we play Valorant with. Leaked, doxed, and Reset asked me after I got off stream today. He asked me, "Okay, Carson, now your real thoughts on Stormgate." He said, "What are your real thoughts?" Because he
Yeah.
feels like on stream I'm just making shit up. And I said, "This is what I said
And
today
don't get me
after I got off
wrong.
stream."
Don't get me wrong. We've made some shit up on stream. Okay, we lied to
Oh,
all
you
you
for sure.
guys.
Oh, absolutely. We
Don't get
absolutely
it
do it. Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
We've lied to all of you guys copious amounts of time.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
But this is
Might be
real.
lying right now.
Yeah,
Even.
but this is honest though. Okay, go ahead.
But this is what I said. This is what I said. I said, he said, "Okay, Carson, now what are your real thoughts on Stormgate?" And I said, "Those were pretty much it." Saying what I said on stream. Gameplay looks good. More StarCraft 2 than Warcraft 3. Buildings look good. Units and ground, in terms of like the grass and stuff, is kind of washed out, though. Shit kind of blends together a bit and seems a bit deathbally. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. Those are my words. I'm not gonna leak the rest because it's Reset's conversation, not mine. I'm just gonna leak what I said. So that's pretty much more or less what I said on stream too, minus the swearing. But
Yeah, I think
yeah.
yeah.
What about you?
So I had no. I'm like the opposite, right? So I do agree that there's like a level of skepticism though when you see these Twitter posts, because there was like a day where all these casters and shit were literally copy pasting the same message, like, "Oh, I can't wait for," and it was like all happening.
Let's
within
be
10.
honest though.
That's paid promotion, okay? Like I'm not gonna lie.
No, not paid promotion. Let's be honest about it. A lot of people are hoping to get their fucking foot in the door to get
Yeah,
that juicy money.
I
Let's be honest.
understand.
A lot of people
Yeah,
want to do commentary for it. They want to be part of the community. They want to get in the alpha so they can get
yeah.
used to the game.
I totally
So they have
understand.
potential
Yeah,
to go pro. A lot of people are doing that.
right.
I would love to cast the game. I mean,
Me
maybe I'll
too.
hate it after a month. I would love to cast it.
Me too.
But there's a lot of people that
There
are
was definitely
really...
though, there was a day, and I'm talking like a 2-hour window where there was a lot of, and I'm gonna make a noise here, a lot of,
Yeah. A lot of people,
right?
both hands on the shaft.
Like a double shaft jerk,
Yeah,
right? Like we're
for
talking like a
sure,
cradle the
definitely.
balls and just absolutely go to town. And I saw
I've
that.
tried really hard. I've tried really hard thus far to not do that as much as I can, to not try to jerk these people off, and try to be honest as much as I can. And in the case of today, there's just like, it would be dishonest for me to be overcritical, because honestly, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it's pre-alpha. It looked fine. It looked fun. It looked like a good game.
Yeah.
I'll play it. It's not going to be as good as Warcraft. We always knew that, but there's not a ton to criticize about today.
There's always going to be a place for Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
This game, I don't even think these guys are trying. Sorry, I got hiccups. I don't even think these guys are trying to be better. I think they're trying to do their own thing. Yeah. And I think they will do their own thing. I'm not sure what the scale's going to be. Obviously, there's going to be a big push at the launch whenever they do launch. And like you said, everybody and their mother's going to want a big piece of this.
That dirty money. They want that dirty money.
For however long that it lasts. I totally get that. My opinion is, yeah, I wasn't blown away, but I didn't hate it. I definitely saw more aspects of maybe like a Dota terrain with StarCraft 2 hints. I didn't really see a lot of Warcraft stuff, although the UI is the exact fucking same as the old Warcraft 3 UI, where they have the map in the bottom left and then the image of the unit and then the info of the unit and then like the tab on the right. Like
except they have nothing at the top, which I said on stream. I said on stream that might be like there's an argument to be made that's a little bit cleaner, and you can now look at the bottom for everything. But what I said on stream was I think that's just different for different sake, which I hope they don't do too much. Like you don't want to just, oh look, like I said on stream, like, oh, we're not like the other guys. We skateboard, hello fellow kids sort of deal.
Yeah,
Like you
I
don't want to just
definitely
be different just because it can be, like just be exactly this. The UI for Warcraft and Starcraft is great. Just do it exactly the same.
and definitely have it though. I
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah,
like any observer type UI other than
yeah.
like what we saw there. There was no like production or anything like that. That's like a little too specific though. Obviously, but for pre-alpha, like I didn't hate it. I'm not sure what I really think about it though, and I'm not really gonna give like a big hot take until like the game
Yeah,
comes out because obviously there's gonna be tons of fucking changes. We only saw one faction,
yeah.
and I think that's that what they're calling them, factions.
I guess. Yeah, I think there's gonna be 3,
Yeah, something like
something like
that.
that.
So
Yeah,
I'm not against it. I definitely
yeah,
would love to cast it too. When it comes out, I'd love to make content around it for as long as that's capable, as long as we're capable of doing that.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I'm not gonna like rule them out. I think they're doing a great thing, but yeah, like it's not gonna touch StarCraft 2. It's not gonna touch Warcraft 3.
No.
I'm not even sure if it's gonna touch like AOE, like Age of Empires. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah,
have its own niche. Obviously, a lot. Everyone's going to play it, and I think
yeah,
that's their big grab on is everyone will give them a fair shake.
yeah. And I just feel like,
Is
yeah,
that a
everyone's
lot of is
gonna.
that a lot of pressure now to not fuck up? Probably, but everybody's going to give them a fair shake
Yeah.
when it
But
comes
there's gonna be
out.
so like wait for it, people. There's gonna be so many people that are just if it isn't good,
Oh,
just watch them all lie about it. It's
yeah,
gonna
but you know
be
what? You're gonna have
full
that
lie
anyways,
until the
right?
first couple tournaments when they get that juicy money. Oh, people are gonna be just slurping up
Yeah,
the
there's gonna be a
entire
giant
time.
Slurpico festival,
Yeah.
but I and
Oh, just
that's
wait for
just
it.
normal.
If it sucks, if it's good, whatever, But if it sucks and people know, like when Reforged came out and it sucked and people knew, but there was still some people timid to say it. Like it felt like when Grubby first said that Reforged sucked, that's when everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, but you know
He said
what?
it. We could we could say,
You know what though? I don't know if any of the Frost Giant guys are gonna listen to this, so they probably won't. But
No, they won't.
I gotta say, lock in those contracts deep at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if like
Oh, they'll
The
sign
DreamHack
it.
3 year,
Yeah.
yo, lock it
Yeah.
in deep right before
Yeah.
release. Get them in tight, locked in. Because when
Yep.
shit hits the fan, too late, we gotcha. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think we saw like with Reforged, we had ESL locked in with DreamHack obviously for 3 years, so we were
Hmm.
guaranteed. But fuck me, dude, that was a rough ride.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're obviously super pessimistic. We've been getting beaten our whole lives in terms of like being a Warcraft 3 fan of the game,
Yeah.
and how Blizzard is. That's just the way we're raised. Like we're just like the
I hope
beaten
it's
dog.
great. I want to enjoy it.
Me too.
I would love to have a new game to learn and study. Like I think it'd be really fun to be the ground floor. I started Warcraft in fucking 2010. Like I had no opportunity to see it in its heyday. No opportunity. I'd never played StarCraft 2. I didn't play Counter-Strike Go when it first came out. I was late to that. I played Source when it came out, but who gives a shit about Source? I've never been in the ground floor of any game. I would love for it to be great. I would love to do commentary. I'd love to learn it from the ground and be, at the start to start analyzing it and figuring out strategies. And like imagine being the person that comes up with the standard build order. I would love to be there and see that develop. It's gonna be fun as fuck. But if the game sucks, it sucks. Whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really like the fighting either. Like it seemed very clunky right now, but it is so early,
Seemed
man.
very StarCraft-esque. Like I said, that's what I
Yeah,
mean by
just
death volley.
throw your shit at them and see what sticks, and maybe you like have a drop play or a cute play
Well,
or
yeah,
something
there's
like
the
that.
drop shit micro and there was the stutter set micro. So that's Marines and like dropping Immortals. I'm not a StarCraft guy, but dropping Immortals. That's the two micro things that we saw,
Yeah,
which
but
are
you
both
know,
StarCraft
I'm always
things.
gonna be optimistic until it finally is like, okay, I've tried and it sucks.
Yeah,
I think everyone's gonna be like that, but the big key is like everyone's gonna give them a fair shake. So is
yeah,
that a lot of pressure to not fuck it up? Probably, but I think at the end of the day you're gonna have everybody, and I mean, dude, if it, Monk like and all those guys like Monk and all them, if you know the game sucks, just lock in those contracts, big boy, and
yeah,
get that money locked in so that we don't have to worry about it. But
yeah,
you know, yeah, I think it is what it is. It is what it is. I know that like
yeah,
Back to Warcraft's obviously going to be a part of the ride. Neo does great production.
yeah.
You know, Monk being in the Warcraft 3 scene obviously knows about them, but there's going to be so many
There's
of
gonna be a
those.
lot of people.
There's going to be so many people scratching to get in, and there's not enough spots. There can't be enough
Well,
spots.
Taste Toast is an easy.
Yeah,
And they'll do great. It's not as though they shouldn't be. Like there's maybe a little bit of nepotism in there because of Day Nine and Tasteless's mom works for them. Like maybe a little bit of nepotism.
Tasteless's mom works for Frost Giant.
Yeah, their the plot's mom works for Frost Giant. I
Would
don't know
it?
what she does, but she works
Oh,
for them.
oh, okay. Well, then,
Yeah.
yeah, they're a
So there's a
lock.
little bit of nepotism, but also Taste Toast is they're great casters. So they should like obviously the first people you think of when you think of RTS is them.
Yeah, and
Um,
out the gate,
so
you're gonna want
yeah,
the people with the big followers, and you're gonna want the people that can bring eyes on your game. And I totally get that. There's gonna be a big wave of the not the old boys club, but just like like the regular suspects, especially like people from other games, man. Like I don't know if like anybody outside of RTS is gonna move on to that. Probably hosts and shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I
yeah. You see like Frankie and people like those
yeah, but in terms
moving
of like
over.
actual analytic casters, I do think it's going to be mostly RTS people. Like it's going to be a lot of StarCraft 2 people.
You're
Everyone,
gonna see the Todds and the Tastosis and whoever the StarCraft people are.
yeah, I think yeah, and of course I'll be like the what's it called? The amateur content creator that works his way up and grinds, you know what I mean? And if
Yeah,
it's fun and whatever. And I think it's gonna be good. I didn't yeah, my take was that it's early. It's so fucking early.
yeah,
It didn't look horrible. I was expecting it to look like shit. And I was expecting it to
yeah.
get like just ran through the mud on the stream.
It
And
doesn't look too cheap. Like it looks a little cheap, but not crazy.
it's
Like
very
you don't
League of
see it and
Legend
think like,
colory though. Like they took
yeah,
that League of Legend color. It reminds me of like a Dota League of Legend type colors with like StarCraft 2
yeah.
mechanics. I didn't see much from Warcraft 3 other than like trees.
Yeah, there
Uh
is creeps apparently that give you buffs. There's not heroes and experience, but the creeps drop like little wards that give you buffs. Apparently, that's how it
I'm not
works.
sure how that's going to work with no hero though. Like is it just like a permanent
Army
speed
buffs,
buff?
yeah, the speed, yeah, speed
Like a permanent
damage,
plus
yeah,
1? I'm not sure, but
yeah, yeah.
we'll see. It's
I'm
still
not sure.
it's really early, but I'm optimistic. I'm going to give him a fair
Yeah,
shake.
yeah.
As I know most people are. And yeah.
Yeah, like I'm in the same boat as you. Like I hope to be able to cast it, but if not, sort of just try to learn the game, try to be better at analysis than other people, make YouTube videos, do commentary on local
And there's room
cups,
for that too. Like
just work your way
obviously,
up,
yeah, obviously the big boys are gonna have their spot no matter what. But
Because you're
there's
gonna have to everyone's gonna have to reprove themselves though. Like who knows from the
yeah,
Warcraft community, and Neo and Remo and Todd, are they in for sure? Grubby, is he gonna move over and be in? Even though Todd is also a StarCraft guy, but like are these guys gonna be able to make it in just ground floor right away? Who knows? But like regardless, if I like the game, I'll just grind up and I'll show everyone that I'm better than these motherfuckers.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
like yeah, and I'm gonna have fun doing
Whatever.
it too. That's always been our
Yeah.
mentality. Is like, dude, you know what? It
Yeah.
is what it is with us. If you like it, take it. If you don't, we're still gonna do our thing. Like if I make Frost Giant content on my own, it's because I'm enjoying doing it, not because I want to see it at
Yeah.
the table. You know what I mean? With
Yeah, exactly.
Warcraft 3, we
Because
kind
there's
of
gonna be a lot of that. We're gonna see a lot of that at the beginning. That's what I'm not excited for.
yeah,
There's a lot of that political shit at the start. A
it's
lot
gonna
of
be a
smiling faces on
bloodbath.
the
Yeah,
outside, but people fucking with each other on the inside. Like there's gonna be a lot of that, and I'm not excited for it. And I
yeah,
honestly don't want to be involved in it. If they give me opportunities, love it, great. If I can, ride the coattails of Back to Warcraft and be in, like I feel like Neo and Remo have earned the right,
yeah.
at the table. I'm new at it, so whatever. But if I can ride the coattails, great. But if not, I'm not gonna fucking cut throats to get in there. Whatever.
No,
I'm just
and
gonna I'm just
I
gonna
think
grind it out.
with someone like you too, and me and you, we're very lucky to have the opportunities through Back to Warcraft. Obviously, Neo
Yeah,
just fast tracked us through all that shit.
100, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
for
not
sure.
really even
Yeah,
sure like how much we really earned and stuff like that. At the end of the day,
yeah,
we did put out good. I always was proud of the shit we did.
yeah,
But
for
at
sure.
the end of the day, Neo had a big boost in that. Of course, you're gonna have a spot at that. I think.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be
but it doesn't feel like earned necessarily. You think of people that should have the seat at the table: the
I agree.
Tastosis,
I
the
agree.
Todds, the Grubbies, Neos. Those people have grinded for years and fucking
Yeah,
years. And
I
in the
still
case of like Neo
feel
and Remo, they've been doing this game for ages. Whereas a lot of the other people, they went to StarCraft. Neo and
yeah.
Remo didn't go to StarCraft. You got to respect them for that. Even though they're not as big as those guys, they stayed in Warcraft. They kept grinding. They made the scene what it is. So those are the people that should have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And if you dispute that, if you're one of these StarCraft guys that's still casting B tournaments and you're upset you don't have it because, you're upset that like Tastosis go to Valorant and then they come back and get it, you're the problem.
Yeah, I still feel like I don't know if you feel the same way. I still feel like I'm constantly paying my dues. I don't feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I like when Frost Giant comes out, I'm like, yeah, of course everybody else is gonna be in there. I'm
yeah,
thinking that I need to like make Dust League have like a branch of it and like grind and put
yeah,
myself out there, and that's probably years of shit. You know what I mean?
for sure.
So
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
like that's where my head's at. But yeah, it's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. Having been behind the curtain of something like that, It's gonna be so fucking
Well,
fun to
I'm sure those
watch.
StarCraft guys are fucking ruthless too. I don't know
Yeah,
any.
it's fun. It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know any.
sick,
I'm
dude.
sure they're fucking ruthless
It's
because
gonna be
I know
sick.
StarCraft is because I watch a lot of Richard Lewis and Thorne. I hear them talk about the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That shit's a bloodbath too. People have no fucking ethics. They just want that
You
money.
gotta wait. I gotta turn the light on. I think it's getting dark.
Yeah.
You gotta wait until like that banner comes out. You know where they list the talent, and
Oh
then
fuck
because dude,
me.
on like if they list it on Monday, everybody from Friday, Saturday, Sunday thinks it's them, right? So
Yeah.
on Monday it gets posted and people get left out and they get so fucking mad, which is hilarious because it doesn't help you. It doesn't.
No, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't serve you any purpose to shit on
Yeah.
anybody post whatever the postpartum. What the fuck is that shit called? Like after the fact.
Yeah,
Postpartum is
postpartum's
like
fine.
after pregnancy,
After
right?
birth. Yeah. Yeah. After birth.
After birth of the announcement, it does you no good to shit on people, but people just
Yeah.
fucking lose their mind,
They
dude.
just lose their minds, and for some reason, they feel the need to lose their mind into their keyboard and then
Yeah.
press enter on the tweet and then not
And like,
delete the
what
tweet.
do you think's gonna happen? Do you think everyone's gonna be like, yeah, you're right, and they're gonna spam the fucking email guy, and then they're gonna kick someone off and put you in? No, dude. Like, you lost.
Yeah, well, you know what it is like. Here's a for instance, like the thing with the casters being mad or whatever. Like, say we don't get in, and then we were mad about it. Hypothetically, if I don't have a seat at the table right away, I don't think I am one of those people to like publicly get mad. At least maybe privately, I'll be like, I don't know if that guy's gonna be any good. But what's really gonna hold people accountable is the fucking chats at the tournament. Like, if when you have somebody bullshitting at a major in CS:GO, like they have fucking Jake Lucky doing interviews at the last CS:GO major ever
Mm,
before CS2 comes out, they're gonna hear about it. Not It doesn't have to be from the casters. You don't have to put your opinion out there as a caster. The community, the
true.
streams, the Reddit threads, they're gonna do it. And whatever,
But
your
hey,
opinion is not gonna skew it.
on the other token, though, if someone gets a shot and you don't think they have, and they fucking crush,
Exactly.
I mean, case in point, you in Sweden, that was your first
Yeah, there
land.
was
I
there
mean,
might have been a lot of people, like, I think I could have done better in Sweden, but I think I did pretty good for my first. Like, there's probably a lot of people that were like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" But,
exactly. You know what I mean? A lot of people that probably
but
wanted that paid gig. It was a pretty good gig. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
And I was sitting there on the couch and I was like, my boy's fucking crushing it. Like some people just knock it out of the park. So it's a yes, it's a yin and a yang, right? Like there's people that are like,
yeah,
oh, I probably do better, and you probably would, right? Because everyone's like take on the product at the end of the day on the camera is going to be different. But
yeah,
I think like you got to let them crash and burn. And if someone crashes
yeah.
and burns, it's going to be so fucking obvious.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about this? This is like a little bit of a dynamic, and just like me doing my first event, I just made me think of this. Like, a lot of what your goal is, like a super experienced person. I think from what I understand, as a super experienced person, doing commentary with someone less experienced. Let's say when I'm casting with Todd at my first event ever, a lot of what his goal is, as someone really experienced and really good at their job, is to make me look better. So me
True.
being really green and really inexperienced, he's going to not make himself look worse, but he's going to do the supporting role in bringing me up. So
Yeah.
he's doing a great job by not actually outshining me, despite being able to. And what we're going to see, possibly, if there's a pool of talent that everyone wants to get ahead of everyone, and everyone wants to be better than everyone, and everyone thinks their seat should be bigger at the table, et cetera, is we're going to see a lot of that dynamic not existing.
Mm.
If the StarCraft guys are not into the CS:GO guys getting their opportunity, or the Valorant people jumping ship from there, if they're not into it, we're gonna see people seriously crash and burn, because everyone's gonna, like Todd and me. If Todd wanted
Do
to
you
outshine me,
think
he could have brought me way down and
do you think
destroyed
do
me
you
at
think
that
people are gonna
desk.
like call people out for like a
No, but there's
take and
like slight
stuff?
things you can do. Like, imagine being at an analyst desk.
Mm-hmm.
Two people, super experienced RTS people. One guy switched from PUBG to doing Chinese PUBG leagues, switched from PUBG to doing analysis, and has no experience in
Then you're gonna
RTS.
ask him what ability he's gonna go next.
Yeah, you're gonna let him burn.
Yeah,
But
you
if
don't do
not,
that though.
if
Who does that, man? Who does that?
you do it, you can do it in a nice way, because the thing with this commentary job, you're really good at that. You're really good at manipulating what you say, and
Mm-hmm.
and skewing the audience slowly but surely towards thinking this thing, even though you're not saying it, even though your body language doesn't suggest it, and you can help people if they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
You can steer them towards crashing and burning. Like me at my first event, I was lucky to have people that didn't want me to crash and burn, that wanted me to succeed,
They
and were able
piggybacked.
to. Exactly, they're able to
Yeah.
help me even when sometimes I messed up a point, or I was nervous, or I messed up a word, he misspoke, omega law, bring it back up. So I hope that that's what the broadcasts are like. But who knows if it is dog eat dog, if it is cutthroat, we're going to see a lot of that probably, especially with the more experienced StarCraft guys. Probably if people from other games come back in, they'll be like, all right, you want a seat at the table? Let's talk about RTS games, maybe.
That's crazy. I've never really had anybody, and you could probably, because I'm not a very analytical guy. So if I was on the horn, I think you could probably try to stump me or make me look stupid. But the thing about me is my personality is I just play off it, and I think a lot of people are good at just playing off it.
That's good though, but that's another side of this whole talent thing. You don't have to be good at it, analytics to be good. So if you can make your way out of that,
here's an issue I've run into multiple times, and this is what bothers me about people that cast. Is when people have like an edgy take or something, and people like us will laugh and bounce off it. I hate the people that go like that, call out what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
We had a conversation about this when we first started doing commentary together. Remember we said, I forget exactly what the conversation was, but I think it was because we started doing Dust League on your channel, and then eventually we got on Back to Warcraft and we did Dust League. Then eventually we did DreamHack, which was like amazing. But I think when we first started doing DreamHack, when we had to do the suit and tie and we had to be more professional, we couldn't be loosey-goosey and making stupid jokes the whole time. We had to be more pro. I think we had a conversation after a cast where we were like, all right, we have to stop doing this thing where we call out each other's mistakes, even though as a joke,
and there's
funny.
some people that can't break that habit, don't want to throw out names. There's some people that are so bad at rolling with the punches, and they call out just like anything,
especially when you misspeak and people like jokingly talk about how you misspeak on
and go a little bit too long.
Everyone does it,
and go a bit too long. Like, okay, like, you know what I mean? It like move on, or like try to like.
That's again bringing each other up, not bringing each other down. Like, obviously, I'm guilty of this because our dynamic a lot of the time was me jokingly shitting on you. That was kind of the shtick, a little bit, but it kind of is.
And if I was inexperienced, I would make it awkward, and then we would be nowhere, and then it would look like shit. But we had like that bounce off thing. That's why like nobody can really fuck with me, because like I'll just turn that into a bigger meme, and then it's just not gonna work.
But it's if you're doing it in not a joking way, and you're doing it like if you I think the conversation we had was about misspeaking. Like if we say something. It's really easy. Everyone has this automatic thing because it feels a little awkward when somebody misspeaks when you're talking to them, that you want to like say I want to say he's creep jacking, and I say he's jack creeping or something. Yeah. It's really, you really want to go like, oh yeah, jack creeping, like as a joke, but that just makes it way more cringe,
Yeah, for sure. And just like
as opposed to just ignoring it.
And just trying to get the point across, like when I say something that's like a little bit off the cuff, and just like to harp on it too long and miss the point,
as opposed to just being like, yes, absolutely, and then moving on from it.
Yeah, and there's some people that just harp on it too long, and it just doesn't make a good dynamic, and it's hard to work with people like that. And I don't know if people are gonna be like that at Frost Giant. We're gonna see it, because if there's one thing that I'm really good at, is watching people actually in their head on screen, like, and just knowing like, dude, you are fucking nervous as shit, or you are falling apart. Or like, hey man, you're rolling with these punches. These guys are fucking you, and you're actually doing really, really well. So it's gonna be fun, because when you're behind the curtain, you see people for like who they are, and you get like just it's easier to dissect it, if that makes sense. Like me and you can dissect casting a lot better than I think a lot of people can, because a lot of people don't know that people are in their own head, and this isn't like scripted, and like this is off the cuff, and some people get nervous, and some people just don't work good with other people. Some people don't have the same humor, just shit like that.
Yeah, that's why it's about finding the right duos, and I think especially people, like the fact that we're both Canadian, I think has sort of helped. Whether or not our dynamic works when we cast together, whether or not that's a good thing, whether or not that's popular, whether or not more people outside of this community would like it, that's sort of why it works to the extent that it does. Is we're both Canadian, we have the same humor, we have similar culture, we speak the same, we have the same accents, we have the same lingo. We understand each other when we say things weirdly,
and we have the same goal on the screen. Like when you roll with the punches, I know when you give me a segue, I give you a segue. Like it's just, we're both working at the same goal. Like I'm not in it for me, you're not in it for you. We're in it for like the game. Does that make sense? Like we're trying to make the game better, which is rare, because a lot of people are just in it for themselves. And like, where's my moment? When can I say something? When can I make a banger? When can I do this? And then you're like, you're not even listening to the other person. And I've been guilty of that too. Like I used to be in my head all the time. Do you remember when you would make a point and then I would make the same point? And you tell me after, like, you're like, dude, you're repeating my shit. I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking nervous. I'm not even
Yeah.
here right now. Like, I'm in a different fucking universe right now. I'm tripping balls. You know what I mean? Like, we got 3,000 viewers. I've never seen this before. I'm tripping. I'm fucking sweating. You get over that. But shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that there's 2 points there. Like the first is when we were both guilty of this, like you just mentioned, like, and we talked it out. Like me and you were aware of it and we talked it out. But when you first start doing commentary, there's this need to impress and show that you can do it. Like I really did this when I first started, which is like you speak relatively fast. You try to make good sentences and you try to constantly do analytical points and try to impress and impress and impress and impress and impress. And you only care about how you view yourself in a way. You don't care about the quality of the broadcast, what you're adding to the game, if you're hyping the right places, and how you're bouncing off your co-caster a lot of the time.
You
And
just
if you're
have
filling your
binoculars.
role,
You just have binoculars
just
on
analytical
my
point.
performance. My
Speak clearly,
performance.
speak fast. Yeah, sound good, be witty.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Always yourself. And I don't know if you feel you were guilty of this at the beginning, but I definitely was because you do commentary on one game and feel like, oh, Carson's actually not bad at commentary. Maybe he could do it. And then it just feeds it and feeds it and feeds it. Speak faster and say more analytical points. And it takes a long time before you can be like, all right, I could just chill and I can think about the broadcast as a whole and other people. And I'm still learning to do that better and better because I'm still learning. But it was like my second point there is Todd told me once, I think it was in Sweden, and we were talking about analysis. I was like, yeah, sometimes I just feel like I can go on forever. Like sometimes I feel like I want to make a 10-minute rant about something that would be really interesting to me, but you got to condense it down to 10 seconds. And he said to me, well, yeah, everyone in this business, he means like people that get hired to do events for commentary, everyone in this business can do analysis forever and ever. Everyone can do it. Like, if I wanted to, I could do it for 20 minutes. If any other commentator here wanted it, they could do it for 20, 30
The
minutes.
key is knowing when to shut up.
Yes, exactly.
When to close your thought.
Yeah. So Todd blew my mind when he said, I was like, yeah, you're fucking right, dude. I'm not adding anything by having like way too much analysis. And I do over analyze things all the time when I do my own streams by myself. That's what I enjoy doing. So fuck it. I do it. Theorycraft. That's what I did because I enjoy it. But like when you're doing a broadcast, I mean a pro broadcast, not some fucking weekly cup. A pro broadcast like the Dream Hacks or like the Raw Land that I got to do. That's like you have to really be thinking about what am I adding to the broadcast? How am I helping the person I'm casting with be better?
No, you have to work as a team there. It's like so crazy. And I think most like you think it's gonna be Bloodbath Cutthroat like for when Stormgate comes out. I think a lot of people are gonna work together. I think if like it becomes so edgy, it's gonna be so noticeable. It's gonna be uncomfortable. I think. But you're dealing with so many, like even look at Valorant, like the VCT, man. There's so many personalities there, and they move people around so much because there's just sometimes
that was cutthroat for sure.
That was super cutthroat, and it's like, and you're seeing people just not gel, and you're like, you need to move them. You need to move them. Like top of my head, I can think of like Mimi was really good with Sean Garris. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like those were good. Analytic, they just fed off each other.
The fact that Sean Garris doesn't get hired as much as he should is crazy because he's like the best.
Super smart. But there were some people, I don't even know their names, but like it was just like, oh, that ain't it. Or like, you know what I mean? Like that ain't it. But you got to shuffle. But like, I didn't know that it was so cutthroat. Like, did you see like what's going on with Golden Boy? Is he out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Riot, I might be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure Riot just says fuck off. Like you said, Deagle instead of Sheriff, get the fuck out.
Is that what happened?
I think there has been some casters that have gotten moved off broadcast because they misspoke and they said a CSGO thing instead of a Valorant thing. I think that's happened. You gotta say Spike. You gotta say Spike.
Can't say bomb.
You gotta say Sheriff. You gotta say Operator. You know.
Damn, I did not know what the case was with. I guess he's out. He did something.
Yeah.
But he's
and credit to Frost Giant for this, like the fact that they're not afraid to have comparisons. Like you're gonna be if you do commentary for that game, a big event, you're gonna be able to say like, oh yeah, very very similar to the Stalker in StarCraft. This unit has Blink, but it's called this in this game. You know, you're gonna be able to
and
say
I feel like
things.
you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to make it relatable, right? And you're gonna have to try to at the beginning until it like gets its own identity, which it will. Yes. It'll get its own identity eventually. But yeah, I think that's a really good concept. Should we end it there? I mean, covered a lot of shit. I could keep going about casting. That's why.
Well, how long have we been going for?
Hour 20.
It's probably pretty good. I mean, I think we covered some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked much about work. We talked about the scene, but First podcast, I think it's cool. We don't want to do it
Yeah.
too long. We don't.
Well,
wait
I
too
didn't
long.
really. We're not gonna do bullet points. I'm not gonna do bullet points. So
This,
if we,
I mean, this was fine.
this was totally fine,
This was
right?
fine. I think it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I think we can call it there. I mean, there's no I mean, the Frost Giant thing was today. We talked about that. It was good. And there's
Yeah,
nothing
I
really
wanted to
big in
talk about the
scene right
tour.
now.
I want to talk about the tour. I think that took up like 45 minutes, which is good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that kind of shit. And
But
then,
most of this, obviously, the goal with this podcast is to talk about the scene and talk about Warcraft. That's why it's called This Game Fucking Sucks, because we want to talk about the game that sucks.
and
Warcraft.
hopefully, title's not related to the new game coming out. Hopefully not. Hopefully this
Yeah.
is completely unrelated. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
For sure. Yeah.
We did not design this for Frost Giant. Okay. This is just.
We will
in
be keeping
general.
the name after Frost Giant comes out, though, if that's what we end up talking about instead of Warcraft. So
Yeah.
we will be keeping the name.
We're just hoping it's not related. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, obviously, are we doing this bi-weekly? Weekly?
I think you said every other week, right? I mean, I don't. It depends if we do it live. Like the next one might be live, right?
Yeah. So I do want to do it on Twitch. We're not gonna read the chat, but I think copium. But
We'll have alerts, and if you want to donate, we'll read that. How about that?
yeah, and like people
Yeah.
can engage live with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because I think like
And,
the way like who does like the Four Horsemen, like they don't read the chat.
No,
They just go.
you can type in chat. We can respond to stuff by typing. It'll be live. There'll be no delay. But yeah,
No, we're just chilling. I thought that was a
Yeah.
good episode. You know what I mean? We wanted to do this for a while, and we did it. And dude, if it sucks, it sucks. I don't fucking
Who
care.
cares?
Who gives a shit? But that's
Who
the thing.
cares?
Like me and you shoot the shit all the time, and we're like, why
we
don't
just like to hear ourselves talk. I just like to say some things and get them out there. You know, you can't always do it when you're doing commentary. Honestly, the only times I get to talk on stream is when I'm laddering or when I'm doing weekly cups on Back to Warcraft, which is hard to do it when you're doing commentary. You're playing the game. You can't talk. You can't get these points out. I just want to be able to do it. Maybe 5 people will listen. Maybe 10.
Yeah,
Who knows?
maybe we start shitting on people if they start playing bad too. You know what I mean? Maybe we get a little spicy dicey. You know what I mean? I do need a better feng shui though. You have like this strobe light going on in the back, like you're showing your
Yeah.
wardrobe and shit. I got like
Yeah.
loose cords with like hockey cards. I need a little bit more feng shui.
And in case anyone zooms in on this whiteboard behind me, the person that used to live here about 8 months ago, this is their whiteboard, and everything written on here is them. This is not my super autistic list of things to do.
What does it say? Is it a calendar?
It's like an entire, like, every day is organized.
Like
into every
gym,
hour
take a
of the day.
pill, do this, do that, do that.
Play video games 1 hour, TV 2 hours,
No,
homework.
it's
Yeah,
super
dude.
regimented.
Yeah, dude, based.
Nice. You kept it
What a
just
giga
because
chad.
it's hilarious.
I just have no use for the whiteboard. It's just always been there. I don't have an eraser and I don't have a marker, so it's just been on there.
Well, there you go. There it is.
In case you wondered, because it's in the background, and people might zoom in and be like, "Wow, Carson, that's a little odd, bud."
Okay. Well, I mean, that's going to be episode 1. And it'll be on YouTube. And, of course, we'll be streaming on Twitch probably the next time we go live, which is... I mean, we might as well go again like next week or something like that.
Yeah, we'll figure out a schedule. I hope to keep it consistent, same time, same
Well, if
day.
we do every other week, we can keep it the same day.
I think that's a good way to do it. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and of course, guys, if like something pops up and we go like, "Hey, do you want to do a pod like on impromptu?" We will.
If it's like huge drama or something, for sure. And yeah, please, people in the Warcraft community, stir some shit up. Come on, guys.
Dude, they have
Where's
no
the
fun.
juicy drama, dude?
They have
Now
no
that-
personality
yeah.
whatsoever. Like
Only juicy dramas with you, man. Come on.
I know. Fuck.
It's like they just stopped being dramatic after you left or something, dude.
Everything got boring, you know? Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
man.
That's why I came back. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think obviously give some feedback. We'll be on YouTube in the comments and shit. Twitch, obviously, we want you guys to tune in and just kind of, if you like, we don't even know what to do with this fucking background. It's just white. Or is it blue? It's the blue off blue, right?
Yeah, we spent a little bit of time making it look good. If you
It does
guys
look
think
clean,
can
though.
change.
It looks real
It is-
clean.
it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah,
No, looks good.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, and I'm gonna do a little intro, so hopefully that's in there. Maybe it should be. I should be able to get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah, cool. And we might maybe do a little hype video for Twitter or something. I'll edit something together so we can announce it. Because we're recording it right now. We haven't announced it. I don't
Yeah,
even think
nobody
the
even
people
knows.
In the Dust Discord, I don't think they know. I did say it once on a Friday Cup. I was like, oh, maybe I have a podcast announcement coming out soon. But they probably thought it was like Back Workout podcast. But
True.
Nope,
But we'll
it
chop
says.
this up, do a little teaser, and then here we go, episode 1. I mean, maybe we even do another episode, don't announce it, and then you got a little 1-2 punch, you know what I mean? Like a little something to chew on, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think go going forward, it'll definitely be live on Twitch. It'll be a certain day and time. You guys can all tune in. If something pops up, we'll keep going, and we'll just keep doing this until we don't want to do it anymore. It's that simple.
Yep.
Right? Until we get sick of each other. It's already been 12 years. I mean, it's going to happen soon.
Until I get canceled, maybe.
For what?
I don't know.
You're boring.
That's for everyone else to find out what goes on behind these doors.
True.
Yep.
Nobody can read what's on that whiteboard, but
oh yeah, it's where I buried the bodies.
There we go. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. And I don't know how to outro yet, but I want to do something around the title, but I fucking don't know yet.
And
like,
this game still sucks.
Yeah, this game still fucking sucks. You know what I mean? We'll talk to you guys later.